Thank you so
Awesome.
much. I'm so excited. I mean, what an honor. Thank you so much for being part of this. What a great, humbling honor. What I see more and more this year is so many women getting together to support other women. And I looked at the bios of these other women, and I'm going to, rewatch the show. I run actually 2 businesses. So I'm going to follow up and watch, learn from this incredible panel. So thank you for bringing us together.
Of course. Thank you so much for being here with us. I'm very excited. And just to introduce my other half, my fantastic brand ambassador and my friend, Stephanie Bernstein. She's also going to be co-hosting with me as well. So welcome, Stephanie, and meet Zoe.
And thank you, Zoe. I'm really excited to hear everything you've got to share with us.
Okay, well, so awesome. So let's really get started. I'm going to share a little bit about Zoe, and then Zoe, we're just going to dive right in and just have a conversation like it's a girlfriend's talk kind of night, right? And we got ladies here joining us too from the beginning of the segment into now. And so let's dive right in. So Zoe really believes in music.
Yes.
As obviously she's sitting right in front of a piano. And what really fascinates me from our first conversation is that she really believes that the world belongs to children who have the urge for, or the desire to learn music. And
yes.
And there's also the beautiful way of teaching music to young children, that so they can use it as part of perhaps even their life purpose, like Zoe, or just enjoy life and experience, love for music just in general. And she have how many children, Zoe?
I have 7 children. I know.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, they're all classical musicians. I grew up as the oldest of 10 children, and there was no money for music lessons. I was just speaking to the beautiful woman who was talking to me before the show, and she said she's the youngest of 9, and piano lessons were not affordable for her. And I hear that every day, and I experienced that as a child, and there was no piano in my house. And I actually taught myself on an out of tune piano at the school that I went to and practiced after school. And what my hope is music gave me joy in the saddest moments of my childhood. And what the pandemic did for me, now that I was able to start my children much younger in one of the best language learning methods in the world, is that children this past year, I own a music school, and children this past year, they needed music. They needed, when the world shut down, music is what heals our hearts. And even adults, it's not too late. It's never too late. And my dream is to make music affordable for children like me who couldn't afford it. And that's why I started my nonprofit, the Finding Mozart Project, raising money to give children that can't afford music lessons. So what an honor to get to share my mission. And I call it a mission, not a business. I ended up, in essence, opening up a music school through passion, because I just wanted to share what truly changed and saved my life. Music has really done that for me. So yes.
And absolutely. So I know you have already started to share about your story. And so how did you know, right? Like what is the moment, or how did you know that music was going to be the rest of your life? Or this is the thing that you want to carry out and use to inspire others to take on?
Oh, I love that. We don't get anywhere in our lives without a mentor, or without somebody who reached out to us in a beautiful way and saw our potential. For me, it was my bubbies. I have 2 beautiful grandmas, both in heaven, and they saw some kind of spark of music in me. And every Christmas and my birthday, they give me $25, and I saved it up to get my first guitar. Aww. And, back in the day, there was no YouTube. A friend showed me how to strum my first chords, and that went very quick, but I fell in love with wanting to play piano. And I just wanted to say thank you to them. And I started to compose just notes from my head, just sitting there and create on the piano that was at the old school building. And I remember wanting to say thank you to my bubbies for helping me get my journey started that triggered it. So I sat down at the piano, and back in the day, there was no phones and YouTube. I got an audio cassette recorder. This is how old I am. And I put the audio cassette recorder by the piano. And I just composed an original song, which I never played any of my original music until the pandemic when my music school closed. And then I started to share my original piano compositions, and people are saying, play more, play more. But I mailed them the cassette. And I call it Bubby's Gift. And I played it on YouTube, and I played it on Facebook. And I'm so excited that I'm going to actually be performing that same song that I composed for them, to say thank you to them for lighting that spark and giving me the potential and encouraging that artist in me. I'm going to play it at the Winsboro Opera House on June 13th. A miracle of a concert. My studio gets to host a beautiful concert there. 200 children are going to get the opportunity to perform for the first time safely since the pandemic. So I have a lot of things to talk about. So yeah.
Yes, no, you know what really struck my heart when we were talking is just your passion and your love of making music, you know, accessible for all children from all walks of life is like what really just struck a string in my heart. And so tell us about, you know, in terms of your process. I'm honestly selfishly asking because I have children, small children, you know, of how do we cultivate them or cultivate the environment so that they would learn to love music, and what it is that you do, or what is your nonprofit about, and how can we get more involved so that we can support that vision of yours?
That was a loaded question.
Yes.
Give it to me, ladies. I'm so excited. You know, you're like every other mom. I get this question every day. How can I get my child the early start? Because everybody reads the studies. Music helps the IQ, increases 7 points. It builds confidence. Children who take early music education test a full academic year higher. My oldest daughter got into not one, but 5 med schools. She wrote 5 med schools. She wrote her medical school essay on how music changed her life. So parents want to get started, but they feel overwhelmed. Pianos are expensive. You're a mom, you have a toddler. You hear the studies. This audience is very well educated, and what an honor to get to share. How do you get started? You don't have a piano at home. It's expensive. We're all working. We're all building our dreams. And I am so excited. I have solved your problem for you, ladies. I have just finished a book, and it's called Learn to Play in 5 Minutes a Day. Turn your toddler into a preschool piano prodigy. It's going up on Amazon within 1 week.
Yes.
In this book, this isn't just a book. This is an interactive book. I didn't just want to hand you a book as a mom and say, here's how you can get started. With this book comes a link for free downloads. So if you're listening to this, you don't need to have a $500 keyboard at home. You don't have to have anything at home to get started. I give you the free downloads with the free printable piano and other printable materials to get your preschooler as young as 2 years old started. Suzuki, we learn music like a language. My students at my music school, many of them are bilingual or trilingual. They don't learn that second language by their parents sitting down and teaching them. They learn through the environment. So in this book, I train you on how to get started creating the musical environment for free. And I have 5 free practice videos, because I don't expect you to know anything about music, ladies. You feel overwhelmed. I mean, I actually, when I first opened my home studio before the business, I called Wednesdays my doctor mom day. I would have 3 doctor moms come bring their children to me to teach. And I'm teaching their little daughters how to play Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. And these moms, of course, brilliant, were intimidated by trying to be their home practice partner for their child at home. And I said to them, it's okay. You passed the MCAT. You're going to do fine. I'm going to help you through Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. Everybody feels overwhelmed because you didn't get music as a child. So my job, I have videos that come with it, free downloads, give you all the tools. This book, I think, is going to revolutionize home practice for parents. It prepares your preschooler for their first piano lesson without you having to buy a piano. Piano lessons for me were very expensive. The beautiful grandma that I was just speaking to before, she said, She's going to take her desire to learn piano to her grave. She wants to get this started. I want to make it easy for you. And that's why this book is going to get your kids' fingers lit. And I'm so excited about it.
My goodness.
That's
No,
so
congratulations.
awesome.
Yes,
Nice.
no, this is why I'm so excited to have you back to talk more about this book, is because this is exactly it. This is exactly the struggle is, how do I get my daughter prepared? And she loves music, but
Yes.
if we want to really, like you said, piano lessons are super expensive. So I don't want to pay for these lessons to realize that she's not going to like it, right? And so the
Right.
idea is to ensure that, and I also want to support her in whatever it is that she wants to do. And it may be piano, it may not, but I just want to ensure, you know what I mean, that she's interested and she's having fun before she has to sit down for the lessons.
Well, and give her the opportunity, right?
Right.
And
Yeah.
I'm excited. So I'm not a mother, but I am a very proud aunt. And
Yes.
my oldest nephew just turned 2. And
Perfect.
that's going to be my next gift. So what I was hoping that you'll do is zoom in just a little bit more and hold it right there. Hold it.
Hold it. This is me. I'm so proud. Oh my gosh, 7 years ago. And this is my 8-year-old with beautiful curly hair. And I'm on the floor. At the time, I hadn't opened my music school. I was just, for this photo, I was a mom teaching, you know, a sold out piano studio at my home. And my editor said, Zoe, put you as a young mom on with your son. And I said, okay. So learn to play in 5 minutes a day, turn your toddler into a preschool piano prodigy. It tells my story on the back of how I couldn't afford music lessons and how my goal is to make piano affordable and easy for any mom of a toddler up to age 7. And this answers your question. You said, you're not sure if they're going to like piano. This book goes step by step. It answers the question that every parent has. I want them to choose an instrument to be happy. I want them to get started in music. And there's a lot of fear behind that. And there's a lot of fear that, what if I choose the wrong instrument? What if they're meant to be a drummer or a violinist? And this book answers that question, because we all want to make the right choice. The truth is, it goes step by step of why piano is the perfect foundation of all instruments, because all of music theory is based on the piano keyboard. Yes. Nothing is wasted, no matter what. If they want to switch to violin, they have the AP music theory exam. If you start with piano, violin, drums, everybody has to know the keyboard map. So it solves your question. And we're all overachievers here. I think we all want to give our kids everything. You are not making a mistake by choosing piano, because nothing is wasted for them if you choose piano for them to get them started. I love what I do.
Yes, and 100%. I'm out for that book. I can't wait. Okay, so let's shift gears a little bit. I know I learned so much about your book and your passion for music. I know you and I had a really good conversation, and we got really real with ourselves, right? Like, and transparent with how hard, right, this pandemic has been, or how hard it is to be a mom. Especially, I'm just a mom of 2 and you're a mom of 7, right? And what is your biggest advice, right, for working moms, and what is the one thing that you can teach us in terms of how to manage it all and do it, of course, with love, and of course, you know, while creating impact and all of that? I would love to hear your advice.
I love this question. And, you know, it's when you say that I'm a mom of 7 and that I run a business and I do all this. First of all, my oldest is 28. 4 of them have basically graduated college. So I'm mostly now just really focusing on, of course, trying to be present. You said 2 trigger words that I think any working mom or mom that's interested in growing or starting a business that's listening. You say the word manage and you say the word balance. And I think anyone listening is going to maybe be thinking, my life isn't balanced. I don't know how she does this. How do you manage? And I want to just be real, really real.
Yes, please. Yes.
I do not balance my life. My life is, I live an unbalanced life. Every day I get up and I, like every other woman here on this panel, has so many balls that are spinning. I believe it's not possible to have a perfectly balanced life. And I think there's a danger in social media for us all to put out this image of us having it all together. And people who follow me on social media know that I make myself vulnerable. During the pandemic, I cried on my TikToks when I was at risk of losing my business. Women business owners that follow me saw me fighting to save my business, and I did. I think we have to be real with how hard it is to be a mom. Yes. It is not easy. It's not easy to try to juggle everything that I do. What I say is embrace the unbalanced life. Embrace the fact that we don't need to show our children that we're perfect. We don't need to be perfect. What they need from us is our strength and the fact that we are willing to admit when we fail. And I have apologized to my children more than one time. And I think that me being humble and me saying, you know what, I'm doing the best that I can. When they're moms, they will see and they will remember me apologizing when I'm not perfect. And trying to let go of that mom guilt. I think that what I want to do for moms is to say that I'm there with you. Why I think my business is growing through word of mouth is moms see my genuineness. They see that I'm open. They see that I'm real. And they want to know how to get your children to practice. How do you get them to be successful? And I'm there. I've been there with them, struggling, getting them to practice and feeling bad if I lose my temper at the end of the day, but then never quitting. I told a mom yesterday this. She just bought a new house. She said, Zoe, I'm afraid to even show up for the lesson we haven't practiced. Constant mom guilt. And I said to her, bring your child to the lesson. Show up. All you need to do is show up. Even if you don't practice this whole month, if your child knows you show up for that Zoom lesson, you show up. This is a 5-year-old. What are we teaching our children by showing up? We're showing up whether we're perfect or not, whether there's boxes all around our house or not, whether we can dress up and look together or not. And I said to her, she'll never forget it. And I taught her son and I said, on the Zoom lesson, choose one thing you're going to do for Miss Zoe today. It's okay, you didn't practice. You get to be the boss of this lesson. You choose one thing. And it took him a while because he was embarrassed because he wasn't prepared. I will never forget, and the mom will never forget. There was silence. And we both were waiting, just choose one thing. And he chose to play Mary Had a Little Lamb. And he made the choice and he played it. And he played it beautifully. He played it beautifully. And I said, thank you for showing up today. And the mom knew that I won. The mom knew that we won because he went to go play 30 seconds. And I said to the mom, I said, with piano, I am not teaching your son just how to play an instrument. I'm teaching him life skills that he's going to have for the rest of his life. When I have to face big fears, I mentioned Winspear Opera House. I have these, if I'm not uncomfortable and where I'm pushing myself, I'm not growing. I had to have a staff meeting with this professional staff that here's a child who is self-taught. I didn't have a music degree. I'm hiring Fulbright scholars to work at my music school. And here I am, surreal, looking around this team of professionals, putting on my own show at Winspear Opera House. I felt that bit of imposter syndrome that we talked about before I got on here. And then I took a deep breath and I remembered what I told that student. Show up. Yes. Overcome your fear. And that is how we keep rising. And then keep reaching out like what you're doing with this beautiful show. We take time to stop. Yes. And we take time to build community, which I didn't honestly do enough before the pandemic. I didn't build enough support with other women business owners. And I started incidentally 6 months before the pandemic. And boy, am I glad I built those relationships. I started to go to the women meeting groups and handpick the ones that I thought were worthwhile for me because my schedule is very tight. And I'm glad because when the pandemic happened, I had formed those in-person relationships and we supported each other. So if you're a mom, if you're a woman business owner, show up, you're not alone. And don't feel guilty if you today had to forget your child's lunch, have to call the school, drop it off, his socks didn't match. You know what?
Yes.
he wasn't wearing the right size socks yesterday. I think he was wearing his big brother socks, and I'm like, Lord Jesus.
He was wearing socks.
Yes, and 100%. And it's really sweet how you're right. Even my daughter's 4, and she really knows it. Even today, she's really excited. When we were getting ready this morning, she said, "Mom, I'm excited about going to my concert today." And then I also said, "I'm sorry, I'm going to be late, working late tonight because, working late tonight. So Daddy will have to take you." She's like, "Yes, I know, Mom. It's okay. You have a big show today." And I just, my heart was like, oh my gosh, my heart fluttered. And yes, and that's exactly it. And they know, and they know that we're showing up, and then we're not just showing up for ourselves, but we're showing up for them. My goodness.
Yeah. And I'm there with you. And thank you for sharing that little bit of vulnerability. What I love about the pandemic is I think all of us kind of in a certain way stopped just in essence pretending that we have it all together, because we couldn't. I had to reach out. I had other women business owners. I was reaching out. You can do this. And I'm grateful for that. The pandemic changed me in that way. It changed me. It made me a better teacher. It made me more sympathetic, empathetic to my students. It made me challenge very young students that are just starting to not be afraid to create and not be afraid to start their own compositions very, very young, because using music to express their emotions without words. It changed me it made me a better human being. And I want to continue to carry that as the world opens up. I don't ever want to lose that, because I think that our vulnerability and our willingness to admit that we don't have it all together, that we need support, that we need other women, and we need our children to understand that we don't need to be perfect. And then when they grow up and they are rising and they are hopefully changing the world as we all want them to do. Living is giving. And my goal for my children isn't that they become professional musicians. My goal is that they find a life where their music they will always have. Find a life like being a doctor, like being a teacher, whatever it is that you choose, that you're serving and making the world better than you found it. That's my goal. Then I'll be successful.
Yes, 100%. That's exactly why I'm so honored to have you on the show as well, is because we are talking about, being a mom, raising a happy family, but also how are we doing all of that and running our businesses, but also creating an impact at the same time. And that's the impact, right? Like the impact you get to make with the kids, your own children, and then your trained music children, but that's what we get to do all together. And so I'm really honored to have you here. I'm delighted that you have shared this amazing book with us. I'm excited to get my hands on it.
Me too.
Yes. If you have one last, parting advice, what would you have for our working moms? And if things get hard and challenging, what is the one thing that we should really lean into?
I love that question. And I would just say, if you're a working mom and you're getting up every day, dealing with all of these emotions that we are dealing with, showing up and doing all the things, leaning in, we all read the same books, Brene Brown, and we all have Gabby Bernstein and all these wonderful, wonderful things in our ears and in our hearts and in our minds. None of it will really matter if you don't know the answer to one question, and that is, what is your why? Why are you doing what you're doing? And I believe that the reason why I'm growing back my business through word of mouth with friends telling their friends, is when they talk to me, they know my why. They know my why that I share here. And maybe I'm going to be real. Do not run a business. Live your passion, live your purpose, and the abundance will come. I'm blessed and honored and humbled that I get to be here. And I'm reading the bios. Honestly, they intimidate me, of the other women on this panel. And I said to myself, Zoe, just keep getting up every day and living your mission, living your purpose, because to my core, I know why I'm on this earth. I'm on this earth to put music into the hearts and hands of every human being that I meet, grown up child, to give them the hope that I didn't have as a child, the joy that I had. especially those that can't afford it, especially those listening that feel overwhelmed, that can't, a piano is out of the reach for them being in their home. Well, guess what? You've got fingers and you can count to 5. Get my book and I can teach your child how to get ready for their first piano lesson. And they will learn real skills without any money invested. And know your why. And if you know your why and if you know your purpose, the abundance will come. And you have to believe it. And you can tell a difference from businesses that are started to make money or people that you talk to that are uncertain. And there might be some women that are maybe in the wrong field. And I'll challenge you this. If you have an instinct and you're afraid right now and you're listening and you're thinking, oh, you're stuck in this job, find your why. And I think that you know what it is. It's that voice that we shut down. It's that voice that we don't listen to. And you know it. Find the courage to unleash it. And then go in full 2 feet, full risk, and live your passion, because don't let yourself take your last breath looking back with regret that you did not live the dream. Sing your story, live the life, the stage is yours, pick up your own microphone, because that is why we're here.
Oh my goodness. The words that you just spoken is when it is your last breath,
Yes.
you just live without any regrets. That's literally what I just wrote down for my part of my why for a webinar that I'm putting together. But
Yes.
Zoe, for whatever is worth, I know the reason why I was so drawn to you and that I had to have you on the show is not because of the acronyms. It's not because you have all of these, accolades, or because all of these things, because you mentioned that because you were looking at other speakers on the panel and their bios and things. I was inspired by your why. And it's very clear. It's very clear to me that I needed to have this woman on, because not only does she care about music and really, making it accessible for people, but you really care deeply about people in general. And really knowing that if you can teach anything up to us as parents, and that, being a bad mom or, whatever it is, it's not going to be one of my regrets. That's enough. And that's why you're here. That's exactly why you're here. So I am, again, so moved by your story and for whatever that you share with us. And we do have one really awesome question. We have one person, 2 questions. Yeah.
Well, one, I was going to say there is definitely a reason that you're here. So don't compare yourself to the other, the other bios. But and I'm totally excited now for my new gift for my nephew. So I wanted you to repeat, if you don't mind. I think you said earlier that your book is going to be available in a few weeks. Is that correct?
Yes, Learn to Play. I actually have 2 books, if I can pitch both of them. Who writes 2 books in 1 year?
Yes,
Learn to Play. This is learntoplayin5.com, and you can actually start giving us your email, learntoplayin5.com, and I can give you the link. It has its own special. Learn to Play with the number 5.com is the way to get this book and start giving us your emails, and we're going to give you the free videos. If you enter in learntoplayin5.com, that should work. My first book that I wrote during quarantine, this is Music Mom, Bach the Broken World. This tells my personal story. This is very vulnerable. This is an adult book, and it's 7 stories of dreamers that didn't give up. The first 90 pages are how I grew up in poverty as the oldest of 10 children and how music changed my life. I talk about my bubbies. We touched on that here. And this is up on Amazon right now. So all you do is just enter Music Mom, Bach the Broken World. This is my personal story of overcoming and finding my why, and 7 stories of dreamers that didn't give up, that overcame great poverty or incredible hardships to become successful. And that's what I see on this panel. So if you're looking for an adult book, maybe you're not needing a book for your child, this is the book for you. And this is on Amazon. Just pull this up right now and you should be able to find it right away. Music Mom, MUZIK, Z for Zoe, K for kids, because I'm going to teach your kids how to play. What a beautiful, beautiful opportunity. And I don't know if I have time, but I wrote a beautiful poem at the beginning. Can I read it?
Yes, please. Yes.
Okay.
Still
This is
waiting
a
for it.
dedication to dreamers, and this is in the front of Music Man Bach, The Broken World, after Johann Sebastian Bach. And I wrote this for moms and for dreamers that are struggling with getting started and finding their why. And I wanted them to feel this from my heart. To the misfits, the rebels and rejects, I say, you are the player. The world is your stage. Life is your script. Come play along. Mark up the world. Start living your song. Live life. Write your lyrics. Just promise to live. Live like you're dying. Let go and forgive. The author, she tells you that's easy to do, but she's failing forgiving, perhaps just like you. This isn't a book of lists and how-tos, follow instructions and then do what they do. Instead, it's a journey of lives broken and bare who got in the arena and said yes to the dare. Here's to the players. You. Not afraid to play. Bach the world, Bach stars, be the joy, Bach your day.
Oh my goodness.
I love that. Oh, I love that. I want to blow it up on a poster and hang it up in my office.
Yes.
I will sign, I would love to sign you beautiful copies, and I'll gift them to you. And I'd love to sign it. Send me a list. I'd be happy to sign everybody on the panel, a beautiful dedication. You're in the arena, and this is my gift to you if you're on the panel, and thank you for having me. I would love, just wait, don't buy it, let me gift it to you. Let me gift it to you with my beautiful dedication, because you are God in the arena and you're not afraid. And I was inspired by Brene Brown, that book that we've all read, and she did that beautiful quote by Theodore Roosevelt about getting in the arena, and I read it every day. I read it every day during the pandemic, and it inspired this. Dreamers inspire this. You inspire this. So thank you. This is for you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
I love you all.
We love you.
I love you.
Zoe, one more time, and then I'm so sorry. If you could type into, or just say one more time so that our virtual assistant can share it with everyone who's joined.
Yes, and we also have stuff right now, and everybody, Zoe's social media, her website information is already in the chat.
Well, but I see that, but the link or the website directly to the book that you're about to release.
Ah, beautiful. So it's learn to play PLAY in 5.com. That should work.
Okay. I'm sending it to everyone.
Okay.
And then Zoe, we have one quick question. We have a person in the audience asking if do you ship or can I get the book from the UK? She's in the UK.
Yes, you can get it in the UK, and thank you for tuning in. And tell our beautiful hosts here, I will sign a copy. And just because you're my one guest, I will sign you I'll sign you a loved copy from me. So please send me her address. Thank you for tuning in, and I'd be honored to send you a copy signed by me. This is affordable, it's doable, it gives practice videos. It allows you to get started with your child. This is my personal story. This is up on Amazon right now. And just don't be afraid. You have your story. You know your why. Just don't be afraid. Just show up, and we don't have to be perfect. I love you all.
I love you. I love your energy.
I love you. Thank you so much. And Zoe, we made a promise to each other to stay in touch, because there's so many parallels between, your story and mine, and that you've touched so many of us. And I just have a comment in here too. It says, I am so touched. Thank you so much, Zoe, for your share today in the chat.
Thank you so much, ladies.
Yes.
Yep.
Thank you, Zoe.
And have a fantastic
And Stephanie, does that link work?
I sent it. Our VA just sent it to everyone, so it should work. And then I want to reconnect with you because we also are running out of time. But I've got some things that I have some things that I wanted to add to some of the things that you shared, and I'd like to just kind of bounce some things off of your head. So I'll sneak and get your information from the team.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I hope this is just the beginning. Again, I'm honored and humbled, and I'm going to follow up with listening to the other panelists. We listen and learn from each other. I'm
Yes.
going to be listening and learning from them. I am so excited. What an honor. And thank you for bringing us all together, stopping our world so that we can inspire each other. So let's go team. Yes. Thank you so much.
Go team.
Thanks, Zoe.
All right.
Bye,
Bye-bye
Zoe.
now. Thank you. Bye-bye.